The Hypnorotica podcast. Episode 4, Brainstorming. We received a little feedback from some of our initial podcasts, and we're told that we needed to have a little bit more of a proper introduction, so we've tried that out for this episode.
Hi, my name is Lily.
And I'm Aaron.
And welcome to the Hypnorotica podcast.
The podcast where we talk about trying to bake increasingly impressive versions of bread. No, wait, that's not right.
I mean, sometimes it is. I do have a bread machine now.
Oh, cool.
Really, this is the podcast where we try and ascertain a certain subject and then get really far off of it, and we start talking about completely unrelated things.
Yes, really, this is the tangential podcast most of the time, but we're going to try to be a little bit more focused this time around. We have a specific topic to think over.
Yeah, we'll be talking about what we would do if we could make a movie or a TV series, and of course having absurd amounts of mind control in it.
Exactly. And I was thinking about this as I think both of us have the situation where we probably have this thought to ourselves fairly often. It's like, well, you know, that's not the way that you should do that kind of storyline. I think it'd be much better if you did it this way.
Yeah. God, I have seen so many shows where I'm like, oh, I could so do that better. But, I mean, that's one of those things where, I've written books before, at least something resembling a book before. I've written novellas a lot, and constructing a plot is much harder than you would think on the surface.
Right. Especially, it's really easy to come up with high concept sort of ideas, but usually trying to put a really good narrative around them, all the muscle and the sinew of a story is the hard part.
Yes. And not even just that, but there's also just a lot of, even if you're really good at, say, doing the prose, which is the muscle and sinew, you might not necessarily understand how that all interrelates and then all the implications that could take up.
Right, yeah.
There is mainly like 4 or 5 parts of writing. I'm just going to list them because I haven't counted them in my head yet. You have the idea phase, which is, I want to do X. I want to write a story about, I don't know, someone walking the entire Great Wall of China and what happens in that story. I have no idea if there's anything even remotely like that, or if that's even a thing someone can do. I don't know how long the Great Wall actually is, but whatever, easy example. So there you have your idea. Then you have your research phase, where you will ask all these questions. How long is the Great Wall? How long would that take? What sort of people are you likely to encounter there? What kind of interesting encounters could I have there that are reasonable and believable? And most importantly, how do I not accidentally be racist about this?
Right.
Once you've done the research phase, you then have the outline phase, which some people skip, and they're wrong for skipping it. Where you have to say, okay, this is all the things I want. This is how I'm putting them in this order. This is their interrelation to each other. And there's a lot of different outlines for, essayists, the word webs, which kind of look fancy, but I've grown away from them as I've gotten older and more organized in regards to writing. And then you have your actual outlines. This is number 1, this is A, this is lowercase a.
Right.
This is Roman numeral. We gotta get some details about this. And then you get to your actual writing, your rough draft, which is usually the easiest part. Some people disagree with me on this, but I think the rough draft is the easiest bit of writing. And then you have the editing phase, which is hell. I have nothing to really enunciate on that. It is hell, and it sucks. And then you have your final draft phase, which is comparatively easier than the editing phase, and also doesn't require someone to sit over your shoulder the entire time.
Okay, so I think that was 7 by my count?
7, then.
Okay, the 7 steps of writing success.
From what Lily says.
And, I think for now, probably we only really need to sort of deal with, I would say, I guess the first 2 phases is, getting some general ideas of what kind of storyline would work well, and then maybe a little bit of light touches of, what are the practicalities of this or that concept.
Right. So does this mean I get to nitpick your ideas, or?
Yeah. Let's, have it all real free-flowing here.
Great.
So,
You're first, then.
Well, I guess I'll do a cop-out and start with something a little less specific. I think probably working with a TV series is better than something like a movie, because for a mind control plot, you really need a lot of time to be able to, work and develop the kinds of effects that you're going to see, and have the slow burn of changes and people noticing differences and things like that.
I'm putting an asterisk here, so I remember to come back to that subject.
Okay.
Keep going.
Okay, well, and then just sort of as a very general idea, you've got some of the real basic concepts of, like, there are some evil people who are using mind control, and our protagonists have got to stop them. And the reverse of that, where there are some evil people out there, but our protagonists can use some mind control to stop them, as long as they use it in a responsible manner. And then you've got two random people who start dabbling with mind control and trying to figure out what it means to them and all of that.
So what are your plot ideas here? Who are these people? Why are they doing this? How do their interactions play against each other?
Right. And the biggest one that occurs to me, it's something that I've sort of played around with in my head, and originates from ideas that were brought up in that forum-based role-playing game that I first really started getting myself de-lurked from. The idea of, a world where there are a lot of evil mind controllers out there, and so there is a government agency whose job it is to try to find these cases of mind control abuse, and then go in, stop the evildoers, and then rescue and try to cure people of the mind control effects that have been put on them.
See, I'm imagining this is a parallel universe, and I have an evil goatee in it.
That would work out
terribly.
Yeah. But from a TV series, it has the advantage of something that you could set up to be just simple episodic evil mind control over the week, but also design it to push into a larger overall theme. And I think it sits on the right side of mind control is an evil thing to do, guys, kind of moral side that you don't always see in some of the EMCSA storylines, but you generally don't get as starkly as from anything except, say, Jessica Jones.
So you have a premise. Where would you lead this premise? What would be the main theme, aside from maybe mind control is abusive, yo?
Well, I guess I'm not 100% sure on where that would be able to go entirely. I guess I sort of imagine it as very character-driven, and just sort of developing the people as they're reacting to the working situation that they're in.
The Joss Whedon approach.
I guess, though, I was going to point out that Dollhouse by Joss Whedon is one of those examples of something that was, almost kind of mind control-y, but then just doesn't really seem to have any good payoff.
Everything is in fact a doll. Everyone is a doll. They just don't know it. Twist. I don't think that actually happens in Dollhouse, but I think it was kind of implied once.
I saw like 5 episodes of it, and there was it did get a sort of conspiracy theory-ish, I think, at one point, because then it turned out that these random characters that you thought were random support characters all turned out to actually be doll plants by the organization. But I do like the idea that you can sort of do a lot of investigation with mind control. You have a lot of storylines because there's a lot of different themes that you can go into. The nature of free will, and if it even exists, or as an analysis of interpersonal relationships that people have with each other, or as allegories for aggression, assault, and rape, and some of the themes that Jessica Jones pushed on. And in this idea of having sort of an anti-mind control agency, you can play with a lot of those themes sort of in a Batman style, where the various villains that they come up against are foils for the concepts that mind control can bring up.
So is that your thing?
Sure, that's a thing.
Yeah, no, that does definitely seem like a CW style,
Yeah, this could
drama,
be once Supernatural is over, we can have both of those. We can have the Winchester brothers, take on new roles in this new show.
Oh man, that would sell so well.
Yeah, it would.
Have them come in, help out some random person that's like part of an abusive relationship. Man, I want to see that. I am trying very hard not to, I can't remember the word, get off the subject into Supernatural, because last year's was so good.
Oh my. Yeah, we gotta stay on task for this, but I think that's a good general format. Yeah, the CW style series of things with a little melodrama and a little bit overwrought, but with a general system of traveling around and being a problem solver, but with a larger overall storyline that sort of ties things in.
You could even have, like, the X-File appears of actually being, you are part of an official organization, but you're dealing with much more mundane problems, and so it has a cast of the week style thing going on.
Yeah, exactly. And, and an agency like that can handle everything, from some super powerful mind control overlord who, has plans of world domination, to this random nerd who managed to learn how to make a trance app and is trying to steal girlfriends at a high school.
I mean, that is an easy enough premise that we could actually adapt that into various short stories on the site.
Oh, yes, definitely.
I have been writing more again, a lot more, in fact.
Excellent,
I promised myself. I had one of those days where I peered back to see how much I used to write.
Yeah.
And I have written, between the years 2008 and 2013, 250,000 words.
Okay.
And then in the last, I guess, 3 years, I've only written 50,000. Okay. So that needs to change.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'm more or less done with my semester, so I'm going to be able to do a lot more writing over the summer.
I believe in you.
And so yeah, hopefully some things like that can come up for different stories. Yeah, it is a great premise and one that's infinitely expandable. It's almost like, an NCIS style show could be designed around this, where it's mind control instead of murder that they're investigating.
Yeah, that's super easy to make into a serialized thing that kind of just sets itself up. Oh, I feel like doing someone that, I don't know, they recruit people at the YMCA and they're super into, like, I don't know, super athletic people.
Oh yeah, no, definitely. Actually, this may get a little bit off topic, but I was
in that Sailor Moon filler about the gym.
I was reading a website and it brought up this story about basically like a little mini cult in New York that was being run, where it was a bunch of women who were trying to learn how to become, positively minded. But at the core of the group, it was run by this one guy who was apparently using it to try to take advantage of vulnerable women. And I thought to myself, that's like an evil mind controller plot right there.
That is literally something I'm pretty sure I've seen on the MSCA. I don't know why I can never say that.
It's
TSA.
Yeah, it's not an abbreviation that rolls off the tongue. Certainly.
MC Stories.
There you go. That works a lot better.
Gosh, I've seen a lot of that stuff on Tumblr now too. Tumblr is a really great resource for stuff these days. I am learning on how to Tumblr.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. Yeah, Tumblr is very nice, and there's a lot of awesome people who write little short stories, which are mostly used to caption pictures that are mind control themed. Right. I could link you to a bunch of these people if you were interested, but
no, I'm already tertiary linked to them because you repost them on our Tumblr.
Ah, yes, that's true. That's true.
And I do follow our own Tumblr. Don't worry.
Oh, okay, good.
I'm not that out of it. So when I consider constructing a story like that,
Mm-hmm.
I'm actually kind of bad at those broad premises. I think in much more narrow ways, I suppose.
Right.
Like when you presented this topic to me, this,
Mm-hmm.
what would you do if you could make like a movie or a TV show based on mind control? And the reason I took that asterisk down earlier was because I think mind control works really, really, really well in movies, depending on how you want to do it.
Okay.
And there have been a few that have been kind of interesting with the premise, if not disgusting.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking at you, old boy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Still a really good movie. Um, But what I would do, like if I was just given an open budget, anyone I wanted, whatever kind of thing,
Right.
it doesn't even matter who it is. Like this could be done with like a fucking play real easily.
Mm-hmm.
Is I would focus on you have your stereotypical big bad, say a dictator of another country,
Okay.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Someone who is pretty evil, but you can maybe find a way to make them a tiny bit sympathetic, like I don't know. I'm trying to find like this decent country that could work in real life, but that's politics and that's hard. I'm gonna just avoid the situation actually.
Yeah.
Instead, you have some controversial figure like a celebrity or something, or just someone who does like, I don't know, a business enterprise. It doesn't matter. I'm getting off topic here. So you have an organization like the FBI, some investigation branch, bureau, whatever,
Right.
that needs someone to be able to go in and blend in seamlessly.
Right.
So,
right.
of course, they do the deep cover hypnosis thing. Like, this person consents to doing it and is okay doing these kind of weird things they would never be okay with if they had their own state of mind.
Gotcha.
And so,
Yeah.
And so, of course, they volunteered to do it without being able to be told what it entirely entailed because no one would volunteer.
Mm-hmm.
And then you go in and you turn it into a weird romance movie from that point forward.
Interesting. Okay.
Where you grow to sympathize with this person that's being investigated, who maybe is kind of evil, maybe is kind of cruel. And you can kind of set this up as a lot of the rising action being like the character is actively betraying them during this time, doing
right.
operations, planting stuff, etc., 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 without maybe even necessarily being aware of it the entire time.
I see.
Like, they plant a bug somewhere, and they don't really recognize that they just planted a bug, they just had a weird compulsion to do that thing. And then, of course, the climax is when they have to, when, like, the investigation branch is breaching the door or whatever, trying to come arrest this person.
Right.
They have to make the conscious choice to decide to go back to who they were or to stay who they've become.
Okay.
And so you end up with a lot of a story about like what makes a person a person. Are you because you have the same brain structure? Are you because you have the same personality?
Exactly.
Things like that. How far does that rabbit hole go? How interesting can you make it?
Right.
And what is the exact nature of that relationship between someone who is more or less compelled to be a certain way and the person that falls in love with him? Because there's not really anyone entirely in the wrong here, aside from maybe the investigation branch, which, I mean, you can even say, ends justify the means, and there was a volunteer and all of that. So that gets even weird, more ethically weird, I guess.
Yeah, I like that idea, and the interplay between what's real and what makes a person has always been very fascinating to me as a concept for mind control. Yeah, and the idea of identity and being able to just sort of be like remade as a completely different person just by rejiggering how your brain is connected together.
What is a man?
A miserable pile of triggers.
Oh, I like that. I'm sorry, I'm memeing a bit too hard today.
Oh, no problem.
I'll stop shit posting. I don't know if you call it shit posting when you're talking. Shit talking has an entire other meaning that I am not doing right now.
So yeah, I like those sort of concepts a lot. One of the ideas I had for a big villain for the anti-slaving agency sort of idea is basically just like a total nihilist. Is a guy whose story is basically, I realized that nothing matters and that we're all just walking around automatons. And so I just took the next logical step and started getting involved in mind control.
That's not necessarily nihilistic. That's just rationalization.
Okay, yeah, exactly.
You don't have actual free will. I'm just showing you that.
That's right, yeah. And there's a sort of, everyone is just bound towards their actions. I'm wired this way, and that's why I'm an evil mind controller, and I just happen to know how to rewire you, and there's no moral difference one way or the other, whether you're being a slave for me or deciding or thinking that you're making your own decisions.
This is Eobard Thawne, levels of rationalization. To me, you've been mind-controlled for centuries.
God. Yeah. I watched the first season of The Flash. I don't even know if there is a second season yet.
There is.
Okay.
It finishes next week, I think, or it's 2 weeks from now.
Thawne's shtick got real old to me real fast.
I don't care. I love Thawne. So the actor that plays Thawne comes back, by the way.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
Yes, and it's nice, because he's a good guy.
Okay. The funny thing is, I know that actor from a short-lived sitcom on NBC where he's a big city lawyer that moves back to his hometown and buys a bowling alley.
Yeah. I know him from Scrubs, and then there was this movie called Grey Matters, which was about...
there we go. Ed. Ed was the name of the show.
Yeah. And it was a movie about... What's that? Is it Lindsay... No, it's not Lindsey Graham. That's a politician.
Yeah.
It's this blonde lady who... I'm just gonna look it up. Yeah. This was a not super well-liked movie. Heather Graham. That's it.
Okay.
I was close, right? But yeah... Heather Graham and Tom Cavanaugh, who is the guy that plays Eobard Thawne, or Harrison Wells, I suppose, are twins.
Okay.
And, yeah, they're twins, and he starts, dating a lady that they're, really awkwardly close twins, too, you know?
Oh, okay.
So, he starts dating a lady, she gets kind of jealous and ends up kissing his girlfriend, and then she kind of has this realization that she's gay as fuck. And it was okay, but very by the numbers.
Mm-hmm.
This is what, 15-year-old me was kind of okay with. Except, no, I didn't see it until at least I was 17 or 18, because it came out in 2006.
So we definitely are both liking some themes of identity and what it means to be a person and what it means to have free will.
I mean,
and
my other idea was villain protagonist.
Okay, that's a popular style of doing things. So let's.
It is, which makes me hesitant to do it.
Okay, well let's hear what this one is.
So, villain protagonist. Obviously, you have someone who has the ability. Fucking rip off the Purple Man or Kilgrave or whatever. The ability to make people do exactly as he says.
Okay.
But then you take the idea that he doesn't have actual control over it. Not very well. It's very imprecise. If he says go fuck yourself, well, great. But yeah, you have it starring, a villain protagonist trying to get through things. And obviously you have to have some way to stop her. People become very aware of this person very quickly. Because how would you not, right?
Right.
It would start popping up. There would be investigations and all of that.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess you play the Breaking Bad style, trying to do various things while outwitting the police, for instance. And kind of building up a web of plans of Xanatos gamuts and pile-ups and everything. Until finally he is outdone by his own power, because that's how you end these things.
Right.
That is the only way to end these things.
Yeah, as long as you're not an anime. I still am a bit bitter about how Code Geass went down. I don't know if you ever saw that.
I haven't, and I probably should someday, but I've been told I probably wouldn't like it.
Yeah, it's not in some ways, mind control is the premise because the main character's power is total mind control.
Can mind control people once, right?
Right, but it really almost feels incidental during the majority of the show. And a lot of the times, the overall structure is very silly. I guess it's sort of like you've seen Death Note, right?
Yeah.
It's like the character from Code Geass really wants to be Light from Death Note, but he's not quite up to the task.
God, is anyone able to be Light?
No, he is a class of himself. But the way it worked out for me was at one point in the series it looked like the main character who goes through this sort of system basically where he starts using his powers and it starts getting out of hand, and I was like, okay, this is going to be a great Macbethian kind of situation for him. But then he became, super. He became super perfect and had a bunch of zany plans that always worked out perfectly, and ends up, being the top dog of the whole series, and in my opinion, not deserving any of it. So it just felt very hollow to me.
My personal opinion is villain protagonists only work, and in fact all protagonists only work if they are losing consistently.
Right.
I'm gonna throw out JoJo's Bizarre Adventure right here, because have you seen any of JoJo's yet, or read it?
No, I have not.
You should watch JoJo. Battle Tendency can be a slog. Not Battle Tendency, sorry. The Cursed Mask, Phantom Blood, that's what it's called, can be a slog. I really like Battle Tendency. I love it, in fact. That is my favorite JoJo. And Stardust Crusaders it's very shonen, and it shows, and it's very much that, we're on an adventure, and we're gonna fight some villains of the week while having this plot we're supposedly getting to, but it's gonna take us forever. Part 4 has been great so far. But JoJo is all about the trying to outwit your rival in battle, or whatever. And it tends to do a pretty good job. It uses a lot of fake outs, but that's fine. Fake outs are fine. Generally, though, because it's a little more self-contained, it's very much, you did this thing, but I had done this thing, ah ha ha! And, that is, for some reason, compelling to me, and it really shouldn't be, because it's really cheap and cheesy.
I understand entirely, though, no. Animes are mangas that are involved intense battles of wits always actually tend to be kind of fun to watch, even if the battles of wits are kind of silly.
Yeah. But I mean, that's basically what Death Note is.
Exactly,
the entirety of Death Note is an extended battle of wits between Light and...
And I think it's one of the best of any of those battle of wit style shows.
I mean, to a degree, it's only when you start really looking into it that it becomes a problem. At any time, Light could have ended everything by just not killing people anymore.
Right,
just
right.
a little bit.
But you could say that, he couldn't not, because that's his personality. He's just sort of compelled to keep going.
He could plan mass kill-off dates.
Right. So, I guess we may be moving a little bit away now as we start talking about random animes. But, Xanatos gambits and long battles of wits fit very well into mind control plots, whether only one side has mind control abilities or both.
I really have to write this now, and it's going to be dumb, and it's going to be hard for me to write, but I want to write just a scene where you have two people capable of mind control that have to do something to the other person, surprise them, get in them a particular emotional state before they can insert any triggers or whatever.
Okay.
And they have to be really simple actions, like I can make you do this thing, or you have to stop using this word, or stop doing, this specific thing that you've been doing.
Right.
And just kind of having that little chess match style thing.
Cool, yeah.
But I might not be clever enough to do that.
That's always the hardest thing about those sorts of battle of wits storylines, is you have to be just as clever and tricky as the characters for it to actually come off as legitimate.
Yeah, and sometimes time is not the thing you need. You need just cleverness.
Right, and and sometimes, some brilliant idea strikes you, and then sometimes you're just left utterly blocked. Yeah, that's true. So, the thing I do notice, I guess, is, and I think this is just because of the nature of a show or something, is all of our ideas so far do have sort of a definite protagonist-antagonist kind of situation. And there's the other idea that I had, which was sort of which is a more focused story of, these two people are starting to dabble with hypnosis, and then it becomes this thing where what they're able to do with it starts getting more and more over the top. And the person who's being hypnotized, or maybe both of them, find that they're sort of getting swept up in it, and they're not sure if they want to keep going, and they're not sure if they would be able to stop even if they do want to.
And so one person inevitably keeps going and the other doesn't, and then you have I Can Ride My Bike with No Handlebars by Flowbots. I am full of pop culture references today.
Yeah, you were saying that you were feeling pretty memey today.
I am. I am shitposting incarnate right now.
So
I'm going to write a story about someone who is now compelled to post on me IRL all day forever.
That's the only explanation, really, for some of the stuff on the internet.
I mean, it is.
I think that we need to make some mind control memes is what needs to happen. We can share and distribute them amongst Tumblr and other locations.
See, I was hoping you were going to go the obvious direction given the nature of our podcast and say you want to make a meme that is somehow mind control-y to push people into making memes.
Oh, that's another great option. I was thinking memes as triggers definitely has a lot of wacky potential.
God. Now that trigger has the social justice connotation. I guess it's had for a while. I just never paid attention to it. And now, also the hypnosis thing. And they technically mean the same thing, but there's connotation differences. And now that there's a meme that's literally just saying triggered, because that's a joke, I guess.
We can totally flip that around and use the same, triggered, but then just, random porn images of people with glazed over expressions.
Exactly, yeah. Except I don't know if that's really turning it around. I guess if you have, the glazed over expressions and then, a social justice, tagline to it, it maybe kind of works, but I'm not sure.
Okay. Well, we'll have to do some deeper research into this, some memology research.
God, a simple explanation of why the pay gap exists and why controlling for the variables is exactly the problem with trying to disprove the pay gap. That would be perfect, but I'm trying to think of a way to distinctly say that aside from the pay gap doesn't exist if you control for all these variables, everything that sexism is involved in.
Right.
Yeah, sure. If sexism didn't exist, there wouldn't be a pay gap.
So I guess now we've got a couple of interesting ideas for shows, and I suppose all of them would be pretty viable in different ways.
So what I actually want to focus on is your first idea.
Okay, the agency idea.
Yeah, because we might not be able to make a show out of that unless I don't know, there's some weird higher up watching this podcast because he's a secret fetishist or whatever.
Yeah, that's always a possibility.
And one of us lures them in somehow.
So yeah, I like that idea of the agency. I think it works well with sort of a mix of supernatural style and NCIS style dynamics of some team of researchers who have to go in and investigate various claims to see is there really mind control going on here, or was it just a statistical glitch, or did the person who called this in is just a nutcase or whatever.
Wow, is this mind control or just an abusive relationship?
And that's an interesting question. Actually, that would be a great episode right there, where some people go in and they find it. There's absolutely no mind control going on here, but this is still a pretty screwed up relationship that these people have. We don't have any jurisdiction, but maybe while we're here, we should do something about that. And there's a bit of a moral quandary for that.
This is the sort of thing I would like to write, and I might actually do that. I do have to finish a short story this week, so I might... Yeah, no, I'm saying it so everyone can hear me. By the end of this week, which you guys won't know about, because it'll be last week because of when these things release, right?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, eventually one day, you'll have known I set a deadline for myself that I probably didn't meet.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm going to try and meet it, because I can do this, damn it. But, this allows us to have, basically two teams, and we get to have fun in our own little world here. We'll have to, cooperate a little to say what kind of elements are in there. Obviously the supernatural has to exist.
I think I mentioned that this idea was developed from a similar agency concept from that forum RP that I did, MTech.
Yeah.
So I did like the idea of if I made this agency story, having it be part of the larger ImTech, reality universe. And all mind control is doable in the ImTech universe, magic, psychic telepathy, standard hypnosis, drugs, computer spirals, martial artists attacking your pressure points. So that kind of works out well for the agency too, because it gives you magic and lots of other varieties of potential mind control that they have to investigate and watch out for.
I mean, hey, that's basically what I'd do if I wrote a consistent shared universe anyways. It's the comic book approach.
Exactly, yeah.
Which is maybe not the best approach, but hey, it's for fun.
Exactly.
Honestly.
No. I'm a sucker for world building, so the larger connected approaches, like with comic books and stuff like that, I always enjoy.
We might have to, for next week's episode, because we're gonna set another topic. I think we did pretty okay today.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, see, we're doing better. This was a lot smoother, I think.
Yes, we were a little bit more focused and maybe towed the line a little bit better.
Yeah, and we can have our little. What is that called? Why is this bugging me? It's not divergences. It's a specific word. Digression.
Yeah.
There we go. We can have our little digressions because it was all mind control related.
Exactly, yeah.
And outwitting people, which was still part of proving another point. Whatever. I'm just trying to rationalize everything now. Don't worry about it. But yeah, I think for next week we should discuss and maybe build this world together.
Okay, let's
as a podcast.
Yeah, let's do that. And that sounds like a good plan.
And I will have some prototypical story done by the time we have that next podcast.
Okay, good. I've got some general ideas and frameworks that I've had as ideas for stories, and some sort of characters that I saw comprising one of the teams that would make up this agency. Yeah, so that sounds like good. So the next one is, we've done the high concept. So next time in, we're gonna go through the next step and actually develop and flesh this out.
Yeah, no, I think that's a great idea, and I hope people do not find that too terribly boring, but you know what?
Who knows?
I'm just gonna find a way to hypnotize you to make you always be interested in my voice.
That's our real plan, is you listen to our trances enough, and you'll be fascinated by anything that we happen to say.
I don't know if anyone has asked, because I don't think we've really had any questions come in from anyone. By the way, did you ever write that email?
Oh, shoot. No, I didn't.
You monster.
I know, yeah. I'll now that I'm not so obsessed with all the class assignments that I'm dealing with, I can try to get that into the workflow.
This is going to be the summer of Hypnorotica.
Yeah, pretty much.
But yeah. I don't know if anyone's asked, or if we've really had any communication from people aside from that really, really nice, more people should listen to this, it's good thing, which was big heart to whoever did that. Should really know their name, because now I feel bad that I didn't remember it. But I don't know if anyone's asked, but the reason we actually kind of do this podcast, or the reason I kind of want to do this podcast, I think you just want to do a podcast to some degree.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, but kind of one of the main motivating reasons for me is, I think it helps people get to know me a bit better.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, personally, because I have to characterize this phrase in a bunch of ways so no one can disagree and be like, oh, well, you're wrong. Having a connection to someone, knowing who they are and something about them, makes experiences better for me.
Yeah, it's better for me as well. The biggest hang-up that I've had trying to make MP3 files is that I'm just
talking to no one?
I'm just talking to no one into a microphone, and that ironically perhaps makes me more self-conscious, because I don't know who the hell is going to be on the other end of this thing, and who am I to be telling them that they're feeling very relaxed now. But if they've gotten a little bit more time to get a feel for me, then that's maybe something that I feel like a little bit more comfortable that can happen.
Yeah, you know what you're getting into now.
Yep.
I mean, we're pretty okay people, I like to think.
Yeah, we're nice guys.
I mean, that's only half true. 'Cause I'm not a guy.
I use that the general.
I know.
Yeah.
I just wanted to make a joke that we're not nice, and see expectations and reversing them. It's humor. Anyways, I think that's good for today.
Yeah, we're good.
So we started doing intros, so we need to do exits. So, I don't know, I was going to say bye everyone really excitedly, but I don't think that's the approach I want to go for here. I mean, what, do I just whisper into the microphone like, bye? Or do I be like, and that was the Hypnorotica podcast?
Maybe. I mean, I've been signing off with something like that at the end of everything.
How have you been signing off things?
Our intro and outro music is Cool Vibes by Kevin MacLeod, licensed under Creative Commons by Attribution. You can find all of Kevin MacLeod's work at incompetech.com. And I think that we managed to reduce our tangents down to no more than 25% of this podcast. And I hope you enjoyed it. There is one outtake that I have on the end of this, but aside from that, you'll find this podcast is ending in 3, 2, 1. Mm-hmm. Yep. Oh, just a second. Someone's knocking at my door. I'll be right back.
Oh, no. See, while he's gone, we should just make fun of him, but there's no one else here, and I don't know when he'll catch this. And I'm kind of hoping he never does, and this just kind of enters the podcast somehow, right? So, you and me, audience, private moment right now, right? And I will stop being a dork, I suppose. I don't think that's possible. I think it's ingrained in me. The Supernatural episode was so good. Oh, I hear him approaching. See, now I just have to convince him to edit all this silence out. So it sounds like it was really quick and wasn't interruptive at all. Oh, here he is.
Okay, alright. 1 second, look at my...
Oh, last chance to make fun of him.
Recombobulated. Okay.
Great, so I talked that entire time, and you'll just have to put it in the podcast without listening to it.
Yeah, sure, no problem.
Great.